All right, here we are, episode 12 with a very special guest, boxing promoter of RDR Promotions, my main man, Rodney Rice. What's up, Rod? What's going on?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Rod.
Glad to
Good.
be here.
Thank you. Yeah, and then also, like, I know I tell you before and after every fight, I get all hyped for all your posters and stuff, but thank you so much for, putting all these shows out. For, like, a fan like me, I absolutely love it. So, thank you again during these crazy times. I know it's crazy to try to get all the fighters on and stuff, but thank you.
Cool. I like doing it, man. I like doing it just for the way you feel right now. And that's one of the reasons why I like doing it, especially in times like this. You know what I mean? A lot of people missing boxing, and I was one of them. So.
Of course, of course. So my first question I have, of course, I would love to pick your brain. So how did you get into boxing? Was it as like a young child, or was it something you always loved?
I was fascinated by it. See, I grew up in South Philly, right? And anybody knows in South Philly, you either knew how to play basketball or fight. You know what I mean? If you,
Yeah.
or both. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of that fighting, you know, and a lot of the guys around there were into boxing. It was a norm. Everybody was in a gym. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of fighting, but I didn't do a lot of messing with the gym. I was a heavy set kid or whatever, but I was always fascinated by it because a lot of my friends, they did fight. They did box. You know what I mean? So when I got into be a teenager, I finally went down to the gym, did some sparring, got my behind, whooped a little bit. And then I went in the Army, did some tough man matches. And I was still always fascinated. I always did the sparring while I was in the Army. You know what I mean? In Japan, we did the small gloves down in Tokyo. So when I got out of the Army, I came home, and my cousin Rev, I don't know if you know him, Reverend Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
We call him Rev. He's a coach. He was at Marion Anderson, and I went down there, and I was with him, you know, working out and, you know, doing whatever he said to do around the gym. And I seen these guys sparring a lot. And when he wasn't there, I'd jump in the ring, you know, because he didn't want me to. So I was getting smacked. I was in college, you know, went back to college around the corner at Pierce. And I'd go there first, get smacked around. I guess I got cut one day on my lip or something. And he came in and was like, no more sparring, you know. So he took me at lunchtime, him and Jimmy Arthur, trained me for about a year, and then he let me come back in during the day, and I was sparring everybody in the gym all the time. So I really fell in love with it, carrying buckets for him in corners, then training the kids, and then pros started asking me to train them at being their sparring partners. So one thing led to another. It was like a natural progression.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay, cool. And also, thank you so much for your services, too.
Thank you for
no problem.
Yes. So obviously, you know, you were like literally deep in the boxing with like the sparring and stuff and being very fascinated with it. So how did you get into promoting?
Again, natural progression. It went from the sparring to the carrying the buckets to the corners to being a head coach with Garrett Wilson and a couple other guys. And then it went to me managing, you know, at the same time. Then kind of managing, some people just managing. And like I said, the natural progression was me wanting to be more in control of what I was doing. You know, I consider myself an alpha male, and, you know, you want to have as much control of your product or the thing that you're doing as possible. And when, I'm trying to put this nicely, when you have other people who are kind of, and it's their right to do things their way, but it doesn't agree with you where you want to do things, and it doesn't help you, you know, and you think you could do it a different way, not better, but a different way to maybe cater to a target audience that they're not catering to. You know, you got to do what you have to do. And one promoter actually told me that, said, this is my show. I do it the way I want to do. You promote yourself if you want to do it, you know?
Right.
And that rang in my ears for a long time, you know, so I had to learn. You know, and that takes me to you know, I want to get into it. It takes me to bare knuckle. You know, when my buddy came up with that, you know, I was right with him. We did a lot of other business together, me and David Feldman.
Mm-hmm.
We did some other things, and when he got to doing that, I kind of was like a intern, if you will, paid intern, but I stayed on his coattail. I was doing everything. He would let me touch her. You know, he just liked me around, you know. So he thinks I'm a smart guy. I don't know. But I learned everything over those years with him, and I already had the bug to promote. So once I had it, just when the time came, I was sitting at oh man, it was a Cage Fury, it was one of Mike Bicken's shows, and it was a great show. It was an MMA show. It was a wonderful show. Sitting with my wife, front row and everything, and I'm looking around. I said, it's time for me to do this, and I just went over to Dave said, take me over to Roger and tell him I'm ready. I want to do one. He said, all right, I'll give you one of my dates. Rest is history.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Yeah. I think that was like probably the CFFC. That was like what me and Nick were talking about before we came on. They got like two shows coming up, March 11th and 12th. Yeah, they have put on hell of an event and all, and everyone's always into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
It was fire.
So for some people, so as crazy as it sounds, if you could just set the bar straight on them, because a lot of people think that, boxing promoters are going to walk out, making the Bob Arum money and even the Al Heyman money after shows. But
man.
Yes, I know, which is like everyone's dream at the end of the day. But can you please just set the tone straight and tell them like what goes into planning a whole entire boxing event and all?
Okay. I can't give you details.
Right.
Of a show. It could be hard to do that because things pop up. It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of moving parts, right? But I will tell you the aspects that I go by. It's one with promoting. You need to have relationships, right? And that's important. More important than anything than the ring, than anything there that you're going to use. Any of the material things. You need to have respect. You know what I mean? You have to have if you want to. To me, this is just my R's that I use. You need to have respect. You need to have a reputation. People need to know you. Need to know how you are. You need to have resilience. And the last one I'm trying to think is one more. You need to be reasonable. Okay, and those are the things that when I started going, I was like, yeah, I need to have these things. It's something I keep in my head. Because without the relationships, people won't trust you. There's a certain amount of trust with these fighters. They're not jumping. These guys that's getting on these shows and the managers that I'm dealing with and the way that these are like partnerships on these shows. It's not all me. I have some guys really working. I have some fighters that, like in my first show, that did some outstanding work out in the field with selling these tickets. It's not all me. These guys are really humping. They give me chills. They really hump on. Let's go back to March 7th, my very first show. It was a lot of things that happened, up and downs in that show where the show wasn't going to happen. And some guys jumped in and they really hit the streets and took off with selling tickets and meeting each other on corners in different sectors of the city to trade tickets because one didn't need that one. We're on the phone. It was like I was headquarters and they were out there and they weren't working for me. They were helping me out, man, because of what I told you, relationships, that I have with these people and the respect that I show them. You know what I mean? And then the resilience is to be able to go through those times and know that you're going to come out on the other end okay.
Right, exactly. And I'm actually glad that you touched up on that because Mark Dawson actually drove from like West Philly all the way up here in Northeast Philly to make sure that I had my ticket. So that's like love, and plus he knows that I'm a real one too. So like when I say that I want to go to a fight, I'm gonna 100% go and also buy the tickets too. Yeah, so I absolutely love the ticket hustle with all the fighters and all. So that is amazing.
And if you wanted to get into some of the other parts, the financial parts, there are financial parts. All those referees have to be paid. That ring has to be paid for. That venue has to be paid for. Those doctors have to be paid.
Right, yeah.
The ambulance, we're getting into the airplanes, the COVID testing now that they added on, everyone. The corners, you pay for the rest test, the fighters. There's those costs, and sometimes people forget about that. They just see the lights and they see the money trade going back and forth with the tickets, but they don't think about the cost that came with it. So.
Exactly. So your first promotional event, I apologize, I did not make it. I feel awful that I didn't make it, but I have made your last few. So
Yeah.
March 7th, I just wanted to get your emotions on that night. So obviously it was your
Oh,
first promotions, but how nervous were you, or did you keep it together, or did you just do stuff on the fly that just adjusted your feelings and all too? Like how did you feel prior and after?
I felt nervous when I said I was going to do it. And I was going to get my license and was going through the paperwork. Once I got into working with Zach, he helped me matchmake, and I was working with the fighters, and I pulled them in. I knew who my A side was. I mean, it was all a blur after that. It was just like go to work. You know what I'm saying? So there was no nervous feelings. But I'll tell you, uh, afterwards, it was a feeling of like, wow, that was amazing. That
Yeah,
feeling,
it was
like hearing the
rush
crowd
probably.
roar for Brandon Robinson, Sam Tay, when they got hit, or when Brandon Robinson went down, and the crowd said, "Ooh!" Then he got up, and 10 seconds later, his opponent is down and out. And it was like, ah! And the whole place erupted. It was so much energy. It was like, wow, it was surreal, and that emotion, that was enough. Like I wrote, that was enough energy to power the entire city, and it gave me. I had to write a quick letter to everybody and thank them, because I don't know if I'll ever feel that again.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, the 2300 Arena is an amazing place to watch boxing.
Yes.
Nick, I'm not sure if you saw boxing there previously, but when you come on next Saturday, you're really gonna like the whole vibes there. It's an incredible place, especially when it's all packed. My God, it's like nothing like it.
Yeah, I've been there. I think I was back there in like 2016, 2017, and Ray Robinson fought there. I forget who he
Okay.
fought, but I watched him fight there.
Okay.
And also Christian Cardo, he was on the card too.
Oh,
so
yes. Mhm.
back in the day, yeah.
RDR Promotions has their own setup.
Okay.
Yes.
Where we configure this thing.
I'm
So
super excited. I'm super excited for next Saturday, man. I can't wait for this.
we do things a little bit different. Not
All right.
better. I'm not saying we're better than, because they back up. The promoters we have here in Philly are some real deal guys.
Mhm.
King's
Of course.
Promotion, outstanding. Russell Peltz is a beast. A legend, living legend. So and even hard hitting. I bow down. Manny is my man. We talk on the phone now. He gives me blessings. So just so we get that straight.
Yes.
Of course. All right. So my next one I have for you. So obviously, I mean, I'll never forget when I was just scrolling on like Instagram and Facebook. I almost dropped my damn phone, and I think that I sent you a message on like Facebook, because I was like so excited to see that like November 7th we're gonna have live boxing. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So like that's how like I first got talking to you and all too. So like obviously I think around that time the city was still allowing like the indoor stuff, or maybe they lifted it. But like, when did you know in your head that you wanted to do this and you felt that it was the right time to come and do a show in November?
When they opened the door that much. Because the way I feel is it's like this. I was waiting for just to get a crack. And I said, I can plan for it. What does plan? I had to tell everyone, hey, what about they could do this? They could do that, could do that. I said, the sky could fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just don't do it. We move it. But we can be ready if the time comes and we can, we're ready. So I started my planning in October, late September, early October, and I said, I'm going to do it. And I tried to get the guys that's on board. People fell in, fell out, fell in, fell out. And then I had another amazing dude I was working with. That was with Dave Price. You know what I mean? Him and his son.
Yes.
Really helped the situation a lot. You know what I mean? He has a nice business mind. You know what I mean? And he understands business, so it was easy to work with him. He understood my costs and things that I would need him to do and things that I couldn't do at that time. So it made it easy to do. So also, I like doing things that people say I can't.
Of course.
Sometimes, and I have to go with this too, because I don't live off of boxing. It's not my 9 to 5. You know what I mean? It's something that I love doing. You know what I mean? So it doesn't pay the bills. So I can take chances that some people may not be able to. So, and I can give fighters things that other promoters may not want to. So.
Of course. Yeah. And I thought that was a great business relationship you had with David and Dylan, because obviously, Dylan has gotten a lot better. He's probably going to be getting a title shot maybe at the end of the year or maybe next year for one of the big belts. I know he's fighting for the NBA. I think he told us in April in the post-fight interview, but to give people a chance to see Dylan Price now before you watch him, whether on a PBC or a Top Rank card, that is incredible.
Also, yeah, I thought so. Bringing him here.
Rod,
yes.
Were you during this whole lockdown? Were you having a lot of fighters blow your phone up, call you, text you, hey, what's the deal? When can I fight? When can I fight? Did you have a lot of fighters doing that?
Yeah, I had fighters that they were asking, and I like it. I invited because I'm straight out of the gym, man. I'm a coach. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just in 2019, 20, I was Coach Rice. You know what I mean? I'm in the gyms. So naturally, yeah, they put me on, and I tried to put as many of them on as I possibly could on that first card. But the second one, we did what we could there.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good thing with them blowing my phone up. It makes me know that they're ready. They're ready to fight for me.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, if you could make this hypothetical fight happen, I've been gassing it up, and I love the both of them, and they don't have beef with each other, but I feel like it would bring Philly out if you had Sonny DeBronco Canto versus Joey DeWaco for a main event. Yeah, wouldn't that be a good fight? I've been gassing it up, and I've been asking them too, but they keep saying, but that would be a hell of a main event if someone made that happen. Could you imagine?
I don't know if we have enough room in 2300.
I know. Yeah. I know. For sure.
That's a good fantasy one there.
Yeah, I've been literally calling for that fight since 2019. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so our next one that both of us are very hyped for, February 6th. So what do boxing fans have to look forward to?
I think this is kind of a RDR graduation. We graduated a little bit. We went to junior high school. Either we left kindergarten and went to elementary, or elementary to junior high. One of those. You know what I mean? So something like that. So we have some good matches on there. We have some guys that's really going to take some chances here, and say if they're fighters or not. You know what I mean? Everybody that knows how to fight, to me, doesn't make them a fighter. You know what I mean? Fighters want to fight people that can fight.
Yes.
You understand? So when I see a guy like No Love Smith saying, I'm going to come out the box with an 11-0 guy, you know what I mean? Guess what? I'm going to do anything for him. You know what I mean? After this is whatever. That's amazing. And that's going to be a great fight for him. I think he wins it. You know what I mean? But just knowing that he was willing to throw his hat in that fire, is my hat's off. I respect that. Mark Dawson, he's stepping up a little bit with a guy that's 6-1-1, and he's going to have to be better. Let's face it, Mark Dawson has a lot of pedigree. In his last couple of fights, I'll be brutally honest with it, he hasn't shown it all. You know what I mean? He's done good. He's won the fights. He did what it takes to win, and I like that. He did some different things with Vincent Floyd. He took some chances. He was on the inside banging, which no one thought he would ever do.
Right.
So now with a guy like this, he's going to have to put it together, and I'm going to push him to do that. We got Nahir Albright fighting a tough guy. What's his name?
I got it, I think. Hold on. Let me see. I had it up on my phone. He's fighting Darnell Giles Jr.
Darnell Giles, yeah, another tough guy. You know what I mean? He's going to have to show some tough. He's been out a little while, so he's going to have to rock the dust off, and then down the line, we're going to get him in a little tougher. Then you have Rasheem Jefferson, who wants to fight the champion right now. He'll take somebody 24-0 if you don't stop him.
Yeah, he would.
So we put a journeyman in that doesn't come to lose. He's going to come up here from Maryland or DC, and Early is his name.
Yeah, James.
And he's not going to lay down. you know, and I think Rasheem knows that, and he welcomes that, you know. So we have some fights that's going to be, you know, that loaded in front of you. Then we have Rodman, who's going to entertain the crowd, his crowd, and we have a debut by a big gentleman by the name of Starling.
Yep,
Derek
Starling.
out of Trenton, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So the card, yeah, we're gonna have some. We might have a knockout or two, and then it's a long night for my ring card girls.
yeah. No, I'm hoping that the guy making the pro debut could make a louder thud the way that Scrap Bunch does, man. That guy could kill anybody in the ring. Scrap.
Yeah, we got him coming back March 6th.
Oh, perfect. All right, awesome to hear. Cool,
Yeah,
great. So my
All
last
that dude
question.
does is want to fight.
Who, Scrap? Yeah, he's actually
he wants
going
to
to
do is
South Carolina now to fight somebody with Chino. Yeah.
March 6th. It'll probably be an 8-rounder, and it may be a main event. It might be somebody.
Cool.
We're going to surprise you with the opponent.
Oof, awesome. All right.
And the person won't consider themselves an opponent. They're going to consider him the opponent.
Love it. So obviously, because you're like the most active Philly boxing promoter right now, so these tickets go like friggin' hotcakes. So for like people that can't make it, who is announcing the fight, and also where can they watch it on a stream at?
Oh, Alex Barbosa, the gentleman out of TKO Fitness over in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
Is my announcer, and they can watch it on Fight TV. There's a link on my page. I will put another one up, and it will be on my Facebook page. It's just Rodney Rice, over top of the poster for the show. But if you go to Fight TV or you have the app, it'll be right there. It's up front. You know, you'll see the poster for it.
All right, cool, perfect. All right, Nick, it's all you.
Yeah, I was so I actually ran into Boots' dad at my work the other day, and he was saying he'll be there. You know, February 6th. He's like, yeah, I'll be there, and then he actually came to the wrong dealership. That's how I ran into him, and he was all decked out. And I asked him about Ray, because Ray's a good buddy of mine, and you know he hasn't fought since God, I think he fought that young kid from England or something like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for him for his fight news coming up. But anyway, what's the goal for 2021? I know we live in an uncertain world. Not every day is something different, you know. What's the goal for RDR Promotions in 2021? How many fights cards do you want? How many how many fight cards do you want as possible?
I want to go, you know, if I don't go twice a month, I want to go every month or every other month. You know what I mean? Every now and then hit one twice in a month. You know what I mean? Then maybe pull one every month and then skip a month and go one more time. You know, I don't have a number in my head, but as these kids pour in, I'm planning, you know, because these kids, when I find kids hungry to fight or guys that are with me that want to fight, I'm going to make sure they get their fights. You know what I mean? I'm going to make it happen. How am I going to do it in May or June? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I take chances. I jump in. I see what's going on at the time, and I work at that point. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Why would you not plan a year out? Yeah, for other business I get into, I do. This, I'm having a ball, you know, and I'll be fine, I think, you know?
Yeah. I mean, 2020 was a year that we never expected to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't really have that in our mind. Oh yeah, the whole world's going to shut down, you know?
Right.
And
right.
2021, I mean, as far as like getting to a new norm, as they say, is not looking so good. It's still looking the same as 2020. But like you said it perfectly. As soon as it opened up just a little bit, you were the first one jumping onto it. You were like, let's do it. You know, restrictions in mind, obviously as safe as possible. But as a fight fan, whether it's MMA, whether it's boxing, whether it's two guys fighting outside of Patty Wax in Northeast Philadelphia, I love watching a fight. I'll do whatever it takes to go to any fight that's local to me. And I'm super excited for February 6th. And I just want to thank you again for, being willing to be that promoter for these young fighters and be willing to put on these shows for the fans like Joe and I.
Awesome. Hey, it's my pleasure, man. I'm enjoying myself. You know, I really am.
That's awesome. How many fighters do you have? Like, are you advising or signed under RDR Promotions?
Let's see. I have a Bondo guy from California. He was on my first show. He's an opponent guy. Then I have Amir. I hear Albright.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Albright. Then I'm finishing up some paperwork with Mark Dawson. By the fight, will be inked. Mark Dawson and Rashid Jefferson. That'll be done before the fights come. Them two will be in. And I have another guy, Enzal Demirci, the one that
Scrap beat.
yeah, the one he knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, for him, he has the strongest chin though, but it was just like I don't know what he was thinking lowering his like hand, but like yeah, he got whacked hard with that strong left that Scrap has. He should have kept his hands up.
Caught him right over the glove, man, right over top of the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fight game. That stuff happens every time. You know what I mean? Sometimes obviously, I don't know who the better fighter that was. I wasn't there, but sometimes the better fighter always doesn't win. You know.
Yeah.
So so every once in a while we have these fighters on, and I always ask this question to the boxers. Your thoughts on YouTubers boxing and how much they're getting paid and things like that from like seeing the guys that you know personally working their ass off day in, day out. And then these YouTubers just have a million, kids that are following them on YouTube, and they get to make this amount of money to fight all other non-boxers. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'll give you my thoughts. More power to them. If fans like you, they want to see you, they want to pay to see you, it's your money. You know what I mean? If you're putting butts in seats and you're going in, and Bugs Bunny wants to fight Yosemite Sam and a million people are going to come to see it, pay the man. You know what I mean? Let them have fun. Then there's the line where you take Bugs Bunny and you put him in the ring with a real Muhammad Ali, and then you get and that's when things get confused. That I have my thoughts about, because I think it will water down boxing, but that's not what's happening. We had a basketball player fighting a YouTuber. Fine, it was on a show. It was something that people came to see, wanted to see, and it gave a lot of buzz. I would just wish that would not cross the line of professional boxing, where people think that's what boxing is. Because when I'm in the gyms, I'm seeing guys who put a lot of blood on, and I'll use the cliche, blood, sweat, and tears into this stuff, and it's real. These guys are trying to eat, off of this. And I would hate to see one of them get blotted out by a guy that has 1 million followers getting a shot with a champ. That's when we got to say, hold on, guys. Let Bugs Bunny fight Yosemite Sam. He'll make the same money. Bugs Bunny can't be over here fighting a Floyd or over here fighting Canelo. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody else's slot. So, but as far as what happened on the Mike Tyson show, more power to him, man. Yeah. I mean, if I can get on YouTube and I can take my shirt off and 4 million women want to watch, and if I get in the ring, those same 4 million are going to pay $20 to see me, that's my money.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Also, whoever Nate Robinson paid to train him, they should probably give him all of his money back. That was terrible.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I see that. Yeah, but he was undertrained, And from understanding, the other gentleman, what's his name, Jack something?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul was training for a while. And I could see some raw training there. His step backs, the way he threw his hooks, and you could see Robinson. He jumped in head first. He led, like he went. His direction was led by the movement of his head. So he wanted to go this way, do that, and this way, that. Yeah. So that right there tells me, this is going to be a short night. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you 100%. That was like the best perspective I've gotten, like the best answer I've gotten from that question so far. And it's strictly from like you said, you don't want to see Canelo fighting, say, Jake Paul you know what I mean? Like this. So that's a perfect answer. But if me and Joe want to fight and we have 400,000 friends that want to pay
That's
$60
right.
to watch us fight, then that's good.
That's right.
You know, so that was like the first time I ever heard it in that sense, and that's a great answer. That's yeah, that's incredible. So what are you looking forward to most about this fight card coming up?
Oh man, I'm looking for these for me to have a show that that actually has some 50% more than 50% even matches. You know what I mean? These matches, I mean, you can't just walk up to this show and say he's going to win. Definitely, it's going to be easy. You know what I mean? So I like the fact there's going to be some competitive matches for the fans to enjoy. You know what I mean? And at the same time, we have our fighters not sitting at home. They have a chance to put some money in their pockets and do what they were born to do, get in the ring.
Yeah, that's awesome. So being a Philly native, do you have a favorite cheesesteak spot?
Yeah, man, you crazy. Phillips. And then
Okay.
D'Alessandro.
Is that on 2nd Street?
Phillips is on is 2234 West Passyunk. It's like that's like 24th and Passyunk Avenue in South Philly.
Okay.
On the corner. And then D'Alessandro's is next. It's not really Philly, it's right on the cusp, right on the edge, like one block over. But
yeah.
So wait, Phillips is it's like on this little like side street, right? And it's like a little shop, right?
It's in the middle of the street almost. Well, it's a street behind it, and Passyunk Avenue runs in front of it. It's right there in front of the plaza.
I know exactly where you are. I had that before. Yeah, that's a grade A cheesesteak right there.
Yeah.
I've actually
Phillips
never
They have
tried
the
them
inside
yet.
out pizza over there, the Florida inside out pizza, and the chickens. They got it going on over there.
Well, Rod, I'm super excited to be there on February 6th. I'm super excited to meet you personally, and I'm excited to talk to all the fighters after the fight and post some great stuff for RDR Promotions for you.
Cool, man.
All right.
It's good chatting with you guys, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and of course we're gonna come to as many of your events as possible. I mean, I personally always have a great time, so I'm sure that Nick will too, and it's always great to see like a lot of the prospects. People got to see Nafir Charles back in November, and then of course seeing
that's another one.
Bryce
Him
Toys.
and his dad, man, they really work hard for me, man.
Yes.
Chris is like my right arm when it comes to getting things off the ground, man. He makes things happen. He moves a lot like I move. It's like whatever needs to be done. It's like what happens at that moment. Let's take care of it. You know what I mean? And I love how he moves, man. Yeah, he's like my right arm, man. That damn Chris.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll see you next Saturday, and we're all very excited for it. So thank you again, Rod, for joining.
We appreciate it, Rod.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you. See you Saturday.
All right.